Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alice, and today we are on day 133, Psalm 133 of our daily psalm reading. We are reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we are on Psalm 133, and these videos are filmed in real time. Today's date's the 16th of March 25 and it's a Sunday. Happy Sabbath Day if you celebrate Sabbath Day on a Sunday. You can find the previous 132 Psalms in the playlist below. There is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, these videos are unedited and also probably stumble my wording. Let's get started. When brothers dwell in unity, a song of ascent of David. Behold how good and pleasant it is. When brothers dwell in unity, it is like the precious oils on the head, running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the collar of his robes. It is like the dew of Hermon, which falls on the mountain of Zion. For there the Lord has commanded the blessing life forevermore. So that is Psalm 133 complete. Tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 134. So that's the first half of the video complete. So for those who are new to the channel, I split the videos into 3 parts. So the first part is where I read the psalm, which is what we just done. And the second part, we talk about the time periods that the psalms were written in. And then the last part, we go back to the psalm we read and we talk about it. So with the time periods of the psalms, they're written over 1,000+ year period, and historians and scholars do know kind of roundabout when the psalms were written. They do have a kind of an idea of the time periods on some of them, not all, the author and the events that link those psalms together. And those psalms that obviously have a time period linked to it and all that, an event, we kind of know when it was written. Those are the type of psalms that, you know, people like myself really do like, because I like to be able to visualize how things were back in that time period, to be able to understand it fully. But there are going to be quite a number of psalms, bear in mind we have 150 of them, where they don't have a time period linked to it, but they have an event linked to it. And that then obviously makes it a bit more of when would it have been written, but they have an idea of the event, because obviously the event is kind of portraying what would have happened for that psalm to be written. And it could be something like during famine, captivity, war, conflict, during a king's reign, you know, anything like that is the kind of the event. And then you have the psalms where it's literally unknown, and that is, there's no event linked to it and there's no time period linked to it, because the historians and scholars don't know when those psalms were written, because there's nothing to kind of link it to it. And there's obviously then going to be the translation from Hebrew into obviously English and so forth and so forth. And then you're going to have the poetic language that was written in, which then makes it become more difficult to know when they were written. So then obviously that then becomes a bit more of a challenge for the historians and scholars to kind of then put it all together to be able to understand it fully of when they were written. But there was a big chunk of psalms where they do know when they were written, and you know, they do know, you know, around about time periods. I mean, it could be during 100-year period, so that could also be an indicator of when the psalms were written. There's so many different ways that they can understand it, but generally it is going to be very complicated, because the Bible as a whole is a very complicated book to kind of decipher when things were written. And then you're obviously going to have multiple authors and so forth. And then you'll find there's a lot of stories that are very much similar, and you find that during the Bible that the stories are very similar to one another, so that's also going to make it a bit more complicated to figure it out. But especially with the Psalms, they're going to be more difficult because of the poetic language and the translation. But with Psalm 133, it was written during a time when tribes of Israel united to make him, and him being king is David, because it does state it here. So, a song of ascent of David. So David is what the authors and scholars believe to be author, because even though they can say it's like attributed to David, they believe David was actually the author of this particular psalm. And that's why then, when it says here, to make him king, that meaning that's making David king. So a song of celebration that praises of living in unity. And that is actually quite an interesting point to come to, because obviously we all love to be able to live in unity and not have any issues going on in the world, and it's very hard to come to live in unity because it's obviously a perception purpose there, because obviously for me unity is obviously coming into, you know, full alignment of God and Christ and all that lovely stuff. That for me is what would be considered as unity. But obviously everybody, you know, says unity is a different thing there. But yeah, it's a song of celebration, and it's obviously praising of living in unity, because obviously where it says at the top here, and it's during a time when tribes of Israel united, and obviously tribes of Israel were very dysfunctional and very broken, so to say. So for them to come into unity is going to be important, because obviously they would want David then to become king. So it's, you know, that's how the, you know, praising of living in unity can come to. So obviously you can see it as in our own time of living in unity being a case of community united with God and Christ. And then you also got the unity of obviously having no war going on or no conflict going on within the world. But obviously in this particular time period, it was during a time when the tribes of Israel were very dysfunctional, very broken, and they would obviously then wanted to come into unity and be united, so they could then have David as king. And it's a song that was sung by pilgrims that were travelling to Jerusalem for, you know, for festivals, to celebrate a festival, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of festivals going on within obviously that time period, like religious festivals that could happen, and pilgrims would obviously then want to travel to Jerusalem to be able to celebrate those festivals, celebrate those festival periods. So when they were travelling to Jerusalem, this was one of the songs that they would have sung while on their travels to Jerusalem. So that is Psalm 133 complete. Now I'm going to write in the day and the date, which is obviously 133, and it's the 16th of March 25, and it's a Sunday. So thank you for watching. Please like my content, please subscribe to my channel, and please turn on the notification bell so you then get notified of content like this that gets uploaded to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.